Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Literally What. Happy weekend, happy Saturday. I hope everyone had an amazing week. I am just glad it's the weekend. I feel like with the time change, here's my thing, like I love the sunlight during the evening most nights, but I feel like it's just getting lighter way later than it used to. And then like now in the mornings, it's so dark when I wake up. I wake up at like 6:30, and even by like 7, it's still not fully light out. And if the sun is not fully out, like I'm not fully awake. You know what I mean? Like I can't wake up before the sun because I need that sunlight. Like normally when it was the fall back or whatever, I wake up and then immediately I go downstairs and I take out my dog just to get in the sunlight because that's like one of the main like things to do to wake up fully. So now that's kind of like ruined my routine. I'm like low-key not a fan of this right now. Maybe I'll learn to love it, but it's just like way too light out when I'm trying to like wind down for the night. And like we all know I'm a grandma now at this point, but I just feel like it's getting really light and then it's really dark in the morning, and I forgot that was part of springing forward. So yeah, I don't know where I'm at in this, debate of springing forward and falling backward and keeping one or the other. But yeah, I'm exhausted. Here we are, another week, another episode full of really fun things. Before we jump in though, I literally just have to rant for a second because I am obviously watching White Lotus. I'm watching Severance. I'm diving deep into the episodes, and like, I just think it's so interesting, these, new TV shows that I've been watching, and I genuinely am so over these like, and I don't know if I should call them bandwagon fans, but I feel like there's a lot of people who are jumping on the White Lotus bandwagon specifically, and I'm seeing a lot of hate online towards this season of White Lotus, and I just like, I wish I could talk to that group of people specifically, because White Lotus is a show that I think is so different from other shows and also just like our life. I feel like nowadays everything is so go, super speedy. There's stuff happening all the time. And White Lotus to me is a show that I really enjoy watching, and I love that it's a slow burn. Like the show is very much a slow burn. It's very diving deep into the characters' personalities, diving deep into the scenery, all of that. It's very slow pace, and I think we're so used to fast paced things in this society. And so I'm seeing a lot of people complaining like the show is so boring, like nothing happened this episode. And I'm like, actually, like a lot happened, first of all. And it's all about, I think, like you kind of have to almost put an effort to these episodes. And like for White Lotus and Severance specifically, I put my phone up. Other shows, it can be kind of like a background because again, it's like there's stuff happening very fast paced, a lot of dialogue. And then White Lotus, it's a lot of like looking at the screen, especially Severance as well. Like there's so much in between the dialogue and like things that are happening, and you have to kind of look the whole entire time at what's happening on your screen. And so it shows that I enjoy watching because it kind of takes me out of like the fast pacedness of life, and I can kind of just like sit and focus and kind of ask myself questions of like, what are the directors trying to tell us, what is happening in this episode. And I'm just like so over seeing all the hate for these shows online because it's, I don't know, very frustrating. So if you are one of those haters, like I can't with you. And yeah, anyway, but another thing that I love about White Lotus, besides the slow burness, and also it's not really a slow burn because so much does happen that like all like piles on top of each other, and then it's like one big explosion at the end. So like, anyway, second of all, I love the actors that they pull into these shows, and it's people that like I know their faces, but I might not have seen many of their work before. And it's very interesting to see the people that they bring in because they're such good actors, but you might not know them. It's not like they're bringing these A-list celebrities. So it's just a cool show. And if you don't like the show, then like don't watch it because it's probably not for you if you're not loving what they do and what Mike White does as well on the show. It's one of my absolute favorite shows. I think it's so good. But anyway, and then of course for Severance, like this past episode last week, I believe, the one that was just about Cobell, everyone was hating on, and I was like, we literally learned, and spoiler alert, okay, so if you haven't watched it yet, but we literally learned that Cobell is the one who was brought up into, Kier and Lumen and all of that, and she is the one that created Severance. Like, that's why in the season 2 intro, which I'm sure people who were hating on skip, but they did a whole new theme song and intro with all the graphics, and at the end it's literally Cobell's silhouette and it's her like looking down at this book. Other than that, there have been just such good episodes, and once we get through like Bachelor and now that Traitors is over, I'm definitely gonna start recapping a little bit more and go into depth on these shows. So I'll keep it at the end of the episode though, so that like if you don't watch it you can just skip, but there's so much that goes into it. Like I was listening to the podcast about Severance season 2 episode 4 I think it was, and they literally spent 5 to 6 weeks just filming this one 37-minute episode. Like it's crazy. So anyway, that's my little rant about the TV shows, and I just I can't with these online comments and haters. But anyway, other than that, we have a lot to get into, a lot of good stories as always. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get to some hot gossip, hot take, stories, and advice that will have you saying literally what? Okay, so our first story is some super exciting news for us book talk peeps, and it is that Dakota Johnson and Josh Hartnett were spotted filming Verity in New York City. So this happens a lot whenever there's a new movie. Sometimes we will get behind the scenes of when they are just beginning to film a movie, and it was actually the opening scene of the book of Verity that was being filmed, which was super, super cool. So it's first signs we have of Verity being filmed, and Dakota Johnson was in New York City. And if you haven't read the book, I don't think this is a spoiler at all, but just for a refresh, basically the first scene of the book is Lowen, who is being played by Dakota Johnson. It's kind of her witnessing this really bad car accident. There's blood everywhere. And then after that is when she meets Jeremy, and that's kind of what sets up the whole book of her going to work at Jeremy's house. And also, I don't know if I talked about it before, but the girl who's playing Verity is Anne Hathaway. I know a lot of people thought that Anne Hathaway was going to be playing Lowen, but Dakota Johnson is Lowen. And then I literally just lost her name. What is wrong with me today? I don't know what's up with me today. But the other one who I literally just said 10 seconds ago, Anne Hathaway, thank you, brain, for working. She is the one who is Verity. So very excited. And I'm going to go reread the book, because even though It Ends With Us was such a fail, I really do have high hopes about this Verity movie, and hopefully it will be way more successful than It Ends With Us was. And I don't love Colleen Hoover's books as much. I read a couple of hers, but Verity is the book that I recommend. If anyone's asking me for a book recommendation, if you have asked me, I've literally probably told you Verity, and it's just one of the greatest books I think ever. It makes you really think. It has a really great twist, and I feel like a lot of times The Silent Patient is one of the most popular book talk crazy twists. I hated The Silent Patient because the ending wasn't like exciting to me at all. But Verity, you guys, even if you're not like a big reader, like I would read Verity. It's one of the best books I've ever read. I gave it 5 stars, and I never give books 5 stars. So I'm very excited for this movie, and it seems like they are, from at least the opening scene, they are taking it seriously and like hopefully following the book. And I think it's really cool when we see a book come to life when it's actually people who we can see playing these characters. Like It Ends With Us, absolutely not. I didn't even watch the movie because I was so mad at who they picked to play the characters, because it didn't look anything like what we had pictured. But I think Verity, they did a really, really, really good job. So I'm very excited for that. I think it's going to be a great, successful movie. So good job. And I cannot wait. I'm actually literally going to go start rereading it probably this weekend, because why not? Why not reread a little book before the movie? All right. So our next story is about an internet star, LELE Pons. She is pregnant and has announced her pregnancy, and I am just so excited for her. And she's going to be pregnant at the same time as Trisha Paytas, which I think is so exciting. So the influencer is pregnant and expecting her first child with rapper, what's his name? GUAYNAA. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. But they announced their pregnancy with a series of pictures that show her wearing a white 2-piece skirt. You can see her baby bump, and then her husband is wrapping his arms around her. And then just caption, "We're pregnant. Can't wait to meet you. We love you, mom and dad." She didn't include a due date or the gender yet, but I am so excited for this. And she posted a video where she was showing her friend Hannah, who they have been doing skits. Like they were really big on Vine too. And she like showed her friend the pregnancy test, and like she didn't believe her because they do pranks all the time. And she was like, oh, this is a prank. Like, is this a prank? And she didn't believe her for the longest time. And it was really, really funny. And then she went on the Harry JOWSEY podcast, which again, they were obviously friends because they were both on Dancing with the Stars together for the same season, and told him, and he started crying. And I'm just so happy for her because I just remember like growing up watching her videos, and like she was just so funny. And just to see, you always want to see like people that you grew up watching like succeed and be happy. And I'm just so excited. So 2 icons, LELE Pons and Trish, are pregnant at the same time. And so speaking of Harry JOWSEY, who we all know is not the greatest man in the whole entire world and is definitely a player and has caused a lot of, you know, issues, especially going back to when we were covering Dancing with the Stars, when he was paired with Riley, and just like how he really manipulated the situation, and I think led her on to get more votes. And we won't go back into the past about that. But this story I genuinely did not believe, and I still do not believe this is true. But apparently Pretty Little Liars star Lucy Hale is dating Harry JOWSEY. And if you somehow have never seen Pretty Little Liars, Lucy Hale played Aria, who was very problematic and dated her teacher. So this is also giving like, this is very Aria vibes and energy. So I just do not believe this as well. I do believe there's also a pretty, not huge, but like a little bit of an age gap. I think she's in her later 30s and he's in his later 20s. But apparently sources are saying that they, you know, are in this relationship. It's very casual, but it's not brand new. So he's 27, she's 35. So an 8-year difference. I just like, he is so problematic and is literally like, everyone who's ever dated him or been on a show with him has literally called him an F-boy. He's just, I cannot, he would be like the last person someone would say like, yes, I want my daughter dating Harry JOWSEY. Recently was doing like a lot of press on like how she became sober and she struggled a lot, even like in middle school, with all of that and with addiction. And she just feels like she's been finally like coming into herself, I guess. And like now to see this, it just didn't make sense from what I've seen of her and like how she's kind of changed her life a little bit and now like dating Harry JOWSEY. So I just like, I still don't believe it. So yeah, in 2023, she did a podcast and she said that she wasn't interested in settling in relationships anymore, and said that I think so many people settle. I'm not going to settle. I'll dial in before I settle. It's so dramatic, but that's just how I feel. I typically liked a little project to fix, like your problems are worse than mine, so you're going to make me feel better about myself, blah, blah, blah. So I guess now she's going back to that because I feel like Harry has a lot of problems and issues. So I don't know. I don't understand this pairing at all. And like, I genuinely like, if it came out that this was like all a lie, I would believe it because I don't believe they're together, even though they might be, but that's like crazy to me. Anyway, there you go. The more you know. That's probably like the one pairing, like since I've started this podcast, that I don't believe and I'm very concerned for. But again, it's not my life and they might be very happy together, but he's so problematic and like, what are you doing? Lucy Hale, what are you doing? Speaking of crazy relationships, this is a very crazy story, but Neo has introduced his 4 girlfriends on social media. So he has just confirmed his polyamorous relationship and said, say something nice or move on. So the Grammy-winning singer said he was sharing more information about his situation since the world is so intrigued. So I guess people were questioning and asking questions. And he is a proud partner to 4 different women and he's ready to show them off. So a month after he shared that he was in a polyamorous relationship, he shared an Instagram post on March 8th, introducing his girlfriends, tagging them, and captioned it, since the world is so intrigued, I guess I should introduce my loves properly. Ladies and gents, I present my pyramid. Say something nice or move on with your life. We happy over here. And the first thing that came to mind was maybe people were seeing him with, you know, these 4 different women at separate times and we're going to like accuse him of cheating. And that's when he announced that he was literally polyamorous. And now clearly they're not ashamed of it because he literally posted and tagged them on Instagram. And then some of the girls were posting as well after that and saying it's a solid foundation. We understand each other. We stand on 10 when it comes to each other. A lot of people will never understand that. And that's cool. Just know it's us versus nobody. And then another one said, after my divorce, I decided I ain't lying to nobody no more. I heard a lot of people with just being dishonest, blah, 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 blah. One of the women has been in his life a little longer than the others, and one night he decided to take her and the other ladies in his life out to dinner together. And then everyone got along. They got along, and I let it be known. Listen, I like you, but I also like her, and I also like her, and I also like her. So here's what I want to do. I want to bring this whole thing together. If you with it, cool. If you not, that's cool too. No love lost. I just I can't imagine having to deal with 4 girlfriends. And then I'm imagining like me, or just like a woman having to deal with 4 boyfriends. Like that just cannot be fun at all. Like I don't understand this at all. I don't understand like polyamorous relationships in general. I feel like it literally never works out from, what I've seen of sister wives. But yeah, just kind of crazy. Good for them though, that they are just like posting and happy, and who knows how this is gonna end up, because I feel like there's always just like a favorite. It's like even in friend groups, like there's just people that click more, and like I don't know, just I don't understand it. And yeah, but there you go. Love, just love. Okay, so our next story is a little bit of TV news. We have 2 new shows coming back for their second season, and the first one is Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. They are coming back May 15th. Everyone is coming back, including Whitney. And then we have The Valley, which you guys know I was obsessed with season 1 of The Valley, and that comes out April 15th. The trailer looked so good, and if you guys remember, or like if you follow Bravo, like The Valley follows married couples with kids who moved out from like LA and that whole scene to the Valley, which is more of like a suburban, like when you settle down with a family and kids. And now, I mean, since season 1 aired, I'm pretty sure like all of the couples are like either divorced or separated or just like not doing well. And so we all knew there was going to be like a ton of drama. And the trailer dropped for season 2 of The Valley, and it looks so juicy. Like one of the husbands was literally accusing his wife of like being a call girl or something, and like sleeping with this guy during their marriage and getting paid like $1,500, like crazy stuff. So I'm so excited for this. The only thing I'm not excited for is Vanderpump Rules, which is another Bravo show that got canceled last season, and they're bringing a couple of the girls onto the Valley, and Sheena and Lala are just very annoying. They were like my least favorite people on Vanderpump. I just think they're so I hate watching them on TV because they're just really annoying, but they're going on the Valley, unfortunately. So I'm not happy about having to see them, but hopefully they won't be in like every like episode, because I don't know if they're going to be like main cast members. But yeah. And then Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, very excited about that as well. And I've said it before, like when we were talking about this when season 1 was coming out, like I love Whitney. She's my favorite one. And I just hate the hate that she gets because I'm obsessed with her. She's the only one I follow on social media. And like, I don't know. I just like, I don't get like awful vibes from her. Obviously, yes, she's like the villain or whatever, but I like her better than some of the other girls. So I'm very excited for these. We will definitely be doing some recaps on The Valley and Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, even though I'm pretty sure the Mormon Wives comes out all at once. So I'll probably just do like one full recap maybe. And then The Valley, that's just going to be so good. And even if like you guys don't watch it, I'll still give you all the drama and the tea of what happened, because it's so interesting being into like the lives of like families who are falling apart on TV. Okay, our next story. Chris Martin from Coldplay, he's working with FIFA to curate the first ever halftime show at the World Cup next year. One of my dreams is to go see a Coldplay concert and see a sky full of stars being performed live. Like that is on the top of my bucket list. But we're not going to have a halftime show for soccer, which if you guys didn't know, my sister used to play soccer, and I just think this is going to be so, so cool. Even though personally, I think soccer is one of the most boring sports to watch besides like, what else? Maybe golf. But still very exciting. Maybe now that there's a halftime show, it'll be like a bigger event. But Coldplay vocalist Chris Martin, he's working with FIFA to come up with the first Super Bowl style halftime show at the World Cup final. And it's going to be hosted at the MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. And they said that I can confirm the first ever halftime show at FIFA World Cup in New York, New Jersey, in association with Global Citizen will happen. This will be a historic moment for the World Cup, a show befitting the biggest sporting event in the world. So is the World Cup bigger? Okay, I'm assuming it is because I don't think football's everywhere, right? Like the Super Bowl is only really like an American thing. And then I guess the World Cup is like the whole world. So holy crap, that's a big thing for Chris Martin. And honestly, like I think he's a really, really great choice. I think obviously he tours all over the world anyway. Every concert he has is always sold out. I mean, I literally have always tried to go and like it's impossible basically. But I think this is such a great person that they chose because he is just so beloved. Anytime I see a video on social media of like his concerts, especially when A Sky Full of Stars or like Yellow is being played, I mean, millions of likes and views. So I think this is a perfect artist for them to pick. And I'm so excited. And they didn't say if it's going to be longer than the halftime show at the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl, I think, is like 15 minutes. So I don't know if they're going to make it longer, shorter, what's going to happen with that. But I am so excited. And you best believe that I will actually be tuning into the World Cup for sure. Because why not? Okay, our next story, you guys. Alex Warren sang at the Love is Blind reunion. So I had to throw this in here. Number one, I didn't even watch Love is Blind, so nothing about that I will be recapping or talking about. But Alex Warren, I found his music a few months back. It was before he became like super popular, and I had like some of his songs saved and I had been like listening to him for forever. And then I saw a video of him singing at the Love is Blind reunion. I thought to myself, okay, well, there goes, you know, someone that I had followed now becoming super famous. And it kind of like goes back to like Post Malone. Like I've loved Post Malone since the beginning, and now he performed, you know, with Taylor Swift and is like the biggest thing. And now Alex Warren is going to be, you know, just off being super successful. And obviously I'm happy for him because like I love every single one of his songs. Like his songs are so amazing, you guys. Like you need to go listen to them. I just listen to them on repeat, honestly. And so when I saw him there, I was like, well, there he goes, my guy just growing up and becoming not that he wasn't successful before, but you know what I mean. It's like he was a TikToker musician at first, just like posting on TikTok, and then, you know, obviously his songs are on Spotify, but now, you know, it's going to be crazy. But it made his performance was the first ever musical guest on a reality TV show, specifically Love is Blind. And he sang his new song called Ordinary, and it's about his wife, Cover. And that's also such a beautiful song. I feel that's going to be in like every wedding song and like video for the next few years. But it's so good. And I am honestly happy for him. It was just like such a sad thing for me to be like, now the whole world's gonna know about him. And like if I ever, because he's coming to Florida and then Atlanta because he's touring, and I was like, you know, it was gonna be easy to get a ticket, I thought, and now I feel like it's gonna be impossible. Just like Post Malone, he's coming to do a stadium tour, and it's like tickets are of course sold out, and it's just like, why do I have to find and love people who just end up blowing up? I guess I pick them well. I pick the ones that end up blowing up in the world. So I guess I'll take it as a compliment, but very happy for him. And seriously, go listen to his songs. They will literally give you chills and you'll never want to turn them off. Okay, you guys, our next story is a little kind of like follow-up news. Obviously, we were talking about how Alex Earle, her Hot Mess podcast, was booted off of the Unwell Network with Alex Cooper, and Alex Earle was posting stuff about she has these like announcements and she's investing in some brand, and we now know what the brand is. And so Alex Earle has invested in a canned cocktail margarita brand called SIPMARGS. And if you know anything about me, like I am a margarita girly, like they are one of the best drinks in the whole entire world. And she is now joining a $3 million funding round as the ready to drink sparkling margarita has moved forward with a brand refresh and an expanded presence in new realtors. So I'm assuming that like this brand SIPMARGS was a thing, and now that she has like all these new influencers and just like, or I don't even know who the founder is, but this company now has like way more you know, attention on it and way more money for investing. So I'm assuming this is going to be a really big thing, but Alex Earle was posting on social media, doing her little content stuff for SIPMARGS. She did a really cute, like, on the golf course campaign. And she said, I'm pretty picky when it comes to what I'm drinking. I don't really love anything that's too sweet or sugary tasting. And when I tasted SIPMARGS, I loved all the flavors. And I just think it's a little bit lighter than other ready to drink drinks, which that's a really big thing when it comes to just like the alcohol world in general. I feel like a lot of these canned ready to drink drinks are really, really sugary. I used to drink the White Claw hards, like the 8% White Claws, and they would get you feeling really good, but then I would literally feel like crap, and just any seltzer I would feel awful. And so it's hard to find drinks that like work with you and make you not feel too awful. And so this one, I believe it's just like tequila and like soda water. It's kind of like the High Noons, like where it's like vodka and soda water, and those tend to be just like better for people in general to not make you feel awful when you're drinking a ready to drink can. So I'm honestly excited for this. I think this is going to be really, really popular. And then in 2024, it grew nearly 70% from the previous. So yeah, I think this is going to be really, really exciting. And obviously, like, a lot of celebrities invest in these alcohol brands. I think it's very enticing for a lot of celebrities, and that's why we see, especially in the Bravo world as well, the whole like spritz lover boy, you know, who's investing in that as well. We had the whole like, you know, Ryan Reynolds, he did something with gin, The Rock did the tequila. I feel like there's a lot of just like, you know, celebrities love the alcohol space, so this is another one that I think is going to be really, really successful. So definitely need to try them out. I don't know when they're going to come out. I think you can pre-order them now, but we'll see when they hit stores. Okay, our next story is some sports, because you all know we love talking about sports here on this podcast. And I like talking about it just because, especially like for me, I like to understand things when it comes to like sports season so that I don't just look like a dummy. And that's how I feel like I looked a lot of like my middle, high school, college years. And so I am really trying to expand and learn a little bit more. And so I don't know if you've seen, but there was a lot of chatter online when Braxton got traded and he left the Miami Dolphins, which we all know is my team, and went to Houston, which is one of my husband's teams. So I was like, okay, what's going on here? What is this? And then there was a lot of other chatter about Kyle Juszczyk getting dropped from the 49ers. And so I had questions about like, what is going on? What is this? And I'm here, you guys. I'm here to explain what happens on the off season. I did a lot of research and I dumbed it down for us. So if you are a girly like me who didn't really know what the hell is going on, I'm here to help. And if you're someone who does know what's going on, you're like, how do you not know what this is, Taylor? Shut up. Okay. Sorry, I don't focus on off season NFL. I have other things going on, but I'm here to understand and I'm trying to be better. So if you don't really know what's happening, I'm here and we're going to explain it. And if you are someone that knows what happens at the off season, you literally don't give a crap. I do put all of my like story, like timestamps in the description of everything, Spotify, Apple, YouTube. So if you want to skip this, go ahead and skip it. And don't leave me a hate comment over this because I worked hard on this. So anyway, I'm here. We're going to talk about NFL offseason and I'm explaining it to you guys as like a dating show. Okay. So let's begin. So, NFL offseason, it's a lot happening before we get into the actual games being played. So think of what's happening now as like a hot girl summer. All of these players on the football teams are kind of flirting with other teams to kind of test the waters and see what offers they're going to get, because a lot of times a player's contract will be up. And so they're kind of like, well, where am I going to go now? Am I going to stay? What's going to happen? And some might stay loyal to their team and they'll just, you know, have an extended contract. Others might be chasing a team who might be paying them more money. I like to think that if I was a football player, I would want to stay loyal to my team because I just feel like I'd be comfortable with the other players. I'd be comfortable with the coaches and the staff and the team. I'd be comfortable with the colors. I'd probably fall in love with the colors of my team and like the logo. And I would just feel bad leaving and then going to a team with random people who I've never met. And maybe like they don't like me and maybe my other team did like me a lot. I also don't like change. And I also am a people pleaser. So I wouldn't want my team to also be mad at me for going to a different team, and then you'd have to show up and like play them. So I would like to think I would be a loyal person, and I wouldn't be chasing the money. I would be sticking with my team and really building the relationships there and making sure that our team was the best we could be, and we all would be really tight and do like team bonding and then win the Super Bowl. So that's how I think my Super Bowl NFL time would go down. So anyway, but yeah, so we have all these people who are free agents. Think of it as like you just broke up and you're single, and like you have all these people asking, you know, come play for my team, come play for my team. Or you could just kind of stick with your current situation. You know what I mean? So then we have trades, which is what happened to Braxton, who also is Alex Earl's boyfriend. So that's also kind of why I heard about it as well. So a trade is when a situationship has kind of come to an end, the relationship is done, and you have moved on to someone else. Okay. So a lot of times a team will kind of decide like, we don't really want this person anymore and we want someone new. Like that would also hurt my feelings if I got traded. Like, excuse me. So basically they're going to trade you for a different player. So you would go to a different team and then your old team would get a new player, which is kind of crazy to think about. So it'd be like, you know, your friend swapping boyfriends with another friend because this new person is going to be a much better fit. And let me just say, in my experience in life of my 25 years on this earth, the grass is not always greener on the other side, people. Just saying. So that is what is happening with the trade. So Braxton went to the Houston team, and then obviously a Houston player, I think, went to the Dolphins. So I'm not sure on that one. Maybe. Maybe that's right. I don't know. But then we have cuts. This is just like a full-on brutal breakup. Like, you're screwed. This is, I think, what happened to Kyle Juszczyk. But this is basically like, you're not getting traded. You're just getting dumped. Like, you were just kicked off the team and that's it. Like, you're just done. You're just cut from the team. And they didn't even try to trade you for someone else. So that is kind of what is happening right now with the different players. So then we're going to have the draft. This happens in April. And this is kind of when that new up and coming class is coming up, all the hotties, checking them out. And so this is when the teams are going to pick new, fresh, young talent who are going to hopefully be the next big thing. They are just coming fresh out of college and now they are hoping to be on an NFL team. That made me think of just like sororities, like picking the pledges, like who do we want in our sorority? And that's literally what it is. And I'm not trying to disrespect, because I obviously know that football is a much bigger deal and like way more difficult and more complicated than like sororities, but it is in a way somewhat, you know, like that. So yeah, it's kind of crazy because right now it's free agency. They're all kind of just like, teams are looking for new players, and also new players are looking to see like what kind of contracts they can get, if their current team's going to pay them more money, if another team's going to pay them more money to come for them. Obviously getting rid of people who they don't want anymore, then it's kind of just like a way to kind of like reshape your team. And yeah, it's been really interesting for me. So now I'm following like all this stuff just to see like what's happening and who's getting traded and dropped. And it's kind of interesting. So I didn't really know. I knew that this was like a thing, like the draft, and I knew like trades, I guess, but this is just, it made more sense to me to like look at it all from an outside perspective and like what's going on right now. So that's what's happening. And I hope that, you know, helped you guys if you didn't really know what was happening. That's what I'm here for. All right. So now we have, I sometimes try to do stories that just make you feel good. And this one was really sweet when I saw it, and just really cute, really sweet. Doesn't happen very often. But an American woman flees to the English countryside to clear her mind. And instead, she found love with her Airbnb host's son. Okay. So Megan, she sought refuge in the English countryside after the whole devastating fires that happened in California. And she documented this love story that happened between her and the Airbnb host son on TikTok. It went viral and they are now in a relationship. So she was working in London, and, you know, her workplace kind of saw that she was just being really, you know, she was distressed. She was sad about what was going on, and they told her to kind of take a little break. And so she wanted to go into nature and be somewhere slightly more secluded. So then she chose an Airbnb, and she was drawn to it by the host's background as a therapist. And she was greeted by the host's son when she arrived there, and he offered to drive her from the train station. And initially she kind of thought of it as like something out of a Hallmark movie, which, I mean, who wouldn't? And during their car ride, she said they just had natural banter. It was just a really easy and enjoyable interaction. And when he dropped her off, he mentioned that everything she might need, including dinner, was a drive away. So this is literally giving Hallmark movie, and I'm sure Hallmark is already making a script, writing it down to have this happen. And so as the evening approached, she got hungry and she didn't have any way to get to the city. And so the host son offered once more to take her to dinner. She accepted, and they went to dinner, began to open up, be more vulnerable, found a deeper connection in their shared experiences and outlook on life. They also like look really cute together. You know, like it works and they kind of look somewhat similar, but they look really cute. And then she said, I was just trying to stay in the present, not get too attached, but their connection grew stronger. After dinner, he asked if he could kiss her, and that began their journey. And they spent the rest of the weekend together, and was really excited to spend more time with him. The Airbnb host was supportive of their relationship. So, yeah. Just so sweet. And then the next weekend she returned to the countryside, and then they just kind of kept seeing each other more and more and more. And now they're officially in a relationship. They live an hour apart, see each other regularly, and their story has over 2 million views on TikTok. Very exciting. Really cute. You don't see that very often. I feel like a lot of times we don't hear these like amazing, you know, start of a blooming relationship like this. And this is like such a perfect movie. And I need Hallmark to get on this. Even though I feel like most Hallmark movies are like this, where the guy is like picking the person up and then they just fall in love. But very exciting. Very cute. Happy for them. All right. And then last but not least, we have the Bachelor Woman Tell All drama breakdown to finish up this week's episode. I'm so going to be honest. I'm ready for this season to be over. And I low-key, you guys, did see a spoiler about who wins. I'm not going to say anything after that, but I did see a spoiler. The comment sections do not have my back, and they have it out for me, to be quite honest. So let's talk a little bit about Women Tell All. This is basically when all the women sit down and air out their grievances. It's giving Festivus. And yeah, okay. So one thing that I totally forgot about is Zoe, who's literally in the top 3 and going to Fantasy Suite. She literally was the start of the drama of the literal first group date, when at the basketball game she took Grant away for an hour. And I was literally like reminded of how she made it that far, because she was the beginning of the drama, which was so crazy. And then Carolina girl, she was sitting in the middle in the front. Now I do somewhat feel bad for her, because I am an empath and everyone was dogpiling on her and like attacking her. But after seeing the jacket, she literally made a jacket for herself with like her sayings on it. And I was like, oh, you're here for attention, low key. And was just trying to make like little comments that she, I'm assuming, would hope would get attention. Like when she said, you're the type of girls who blame the other girl when the man's doing you dirty. So I don't know. I was going in it with an open mind towards her, but then when she was just being like very attention seeking, I was like, girl, I was on your side. But here's what I'll say. Like, I don't agree with everything she did, but I'm not happy for the way that just Bachelor Nation in general, like at the Women Tell All, just let all the girls kind of just like attack her and like talking over each other. And like, I couldn't hear anything. And it's like, they need to have a better way and not have all the girls literally attacking her, because it was hard to watch personally. And then the whole, I'll just never get over the Rose, Carolina, Grant situation, because Rose was being mean by making that comment to Carolina. Like, that's just, it was mean, okay? And I'm agree with that Carolina brought it up to Grant, because if she's dating this guy and the guy's telling other people that like while he's with Carolina he's thinking about someone else, like, yeah, I'd want to bring it up if I want this to be a serious relationship. Like, I get that Carolina was probably like, she was right in a way of going into it like not thinking that like we're gonna go on one date and fall in love, because it is a quick, you know, a very quick process. But I think she kind of ran with the being, you know, maybe a misunderstood person. and was hoping that she would have a better outcome. But the problem was this season had no drama at all besides Carolina's little drama. So they had to kind of run with that, and the producers, I'm sure, ran with it, and all the girls had no one else to like cause drama with except Carolina. So unfortunately, she might have had a much better edit, I think, if there was other drama going on, but that was literally all that they had. And so the drama was just super, super forced, unfortunately. And the other thing I was shocked about is that Dina was the reason her family didn't meet Grant. So like she made the decision for them not to meet Grant. And on the show, she said that they didn't want to come meet him. So I'm honestly over her. Also, the glasses didn't love on her either. Yeah, she was just making me mad as well. But the one good thing is that we have Bachelor in Paradise coming back, which I'm very excited for. And they said that they're going to kind of like revamp, change it up. I'm sure after seeing the success of Love is Island, they're going to try to make it very interesting. And the thing with Bachelor in Paradise that's going to be better for me and I'm going to enjoy is, yes, Love Island was one of the best, like especially the past season was amazing TV. Nothing will ever be like it. But it's nice when like you are kind of familiar with the cast going in, and it's really cool just to see people that you're already like kind of know their personality going into this. And I think it's gonna be really good. And I kind of want Carolina to go to Bachelor in Paradise. I really hope she does. And I don't want Carolina to, or what's her name? Dina too, because she's better than that, honestly. But yeah, just another episode of like, this is stupid. Nothing really happened this season. And I'm ready to get this season over with and get to Bachelor in Paradise. But yeah, you guys, that is everything we have to talk about this week. And I hope you enjoyed like my football recap, because like I worked really hard on it because I tried to, learn as much as I can. But yeah, if you are not already, make sure if you're listening to this on Apple or Spotify to go give it a 5-star review. If you're watching this on YouTube, I do upload my YouTube episode videos every single week. So if you want to watch me, also if you know what movie my t-shirt's from, I love you so much. And what else? I think that's everything. But yeah, if you're on YouTube, go like this video and subscribe. And if you're not watching on YouTube, just like go to your YouTube app and just like subscribe. And then you literally don't have to do anything else after that. Just like subscribe, okay? But yeah, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your weekend. And I hope the weather is great for everyone. I saw some things about like there's a big storm coming into the East Coast. So hopefully that isn't too bad. And yeah, I think that's everything. I'm having steak tacos tonight with guacamole. And that's all I can think about is like the guacamole. We're making it homemade. So yeah, anyway. The salami really just hit my brain now, but I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your weekend. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you here next week for some more hot gossip, hot takes, words, and advice that will have you saying literally what. Love you guys. Bye.